There is a microphone next to you.
Thank you. I will agree your direction, Mr. Speaker. Maybe 10 minutes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've just come from my constituency, Mr. Speaker, to also see whether I can be able to say bye-bye and do some of my last activities with the constituents, seeking their approval, Mr. Speaker. I am told, Mr. Speaker, this House may or has approved my nomination as a cabinet secretary. And Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank my colleagues extremely so, and I am grateful for the approval, for consideration, favorable consideration from all members across the board, across the aisle. Mr. Speaker, I love this job. I will miss my job as a member of parliament. And therefore, it is not surprising that I was in the constituency when Mr. Clerk, one of the clerks of this House, told me, remember you are coming here. Mr. Speaker, I know that this 13th Parliament is just starting. While I exit this Parliament, I'm truly grateful to the people of Kandara constituency for finding it fit to give me 3 terms, which then the 3rd term, Mr. Speaker, I may have to surrender or I will be surrendering back for purposes of by-election. Mr. Speaker, it is an unusual achievement for a woman to be elected for 3 terms. I therefore would like to commend women members of parliament who have been able to be elected, even their first terms, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that I can be able to retain and continue serving constituencies in those capacities. Also, Mr. Speaker, that we're looking forward as women, and I have served and have grown. I have trained through the women movement, Mr. Speaker. It would be right and fair and proper for me to speak a bit about that I am very proud of the women movement in this country, and I know it is fairly down around this time, and whatever we can do as women leaders, we need to support the women movement that has grown some of us. And therefore, I also look forward to seeing more women in this parliament, even as I exit. The numbers are not sufficient. 29 women from constituencies are not sufficient, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, it is also, and I say that from the constituencies, I am aware, and I really have a lot of respect also for the 47 county women members of parliament. They need more space. They need more funding through affirmative action. Their fund, Mr. Speaker, even as the CDF seems to, NGCDF seems to be under threat. I think those particular funds, Mr. Speaker, should be continued. I have tremendous respect for the institution of parliament, and I will continue to support the institution of parliament, Mr. Speaker, even while outside, and I would not join people who would not find it proper to continue to support parliament. I know and I think that parliament has many times lost good opportunities to stamp its authority, to be able to check the executive, and as I join the executive, I would still expect that parliament will continue to do its work, Mr. Speaker, that parliament will continue to put the executive in check so that then we can be able to deliver on the promises, on the plan that our government has talked about. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking so knowing that there is a place for the parliament in our constitution. In terms of governance, parliament must continue to be supported. Members of parliament must continue to be facilitated to be able to execute their mandate, their representative mandate. I therefore want to acknowledge my colleagues both in minority and majority, and that this particular time I have stayed in parliament, I have enjoyed cordial relationship with most of members in the 12th parliament, and I look forward, Mr. Speaker, to be able to work I'll look forward for support in my docket, and I had said earlier, my office will be open to everybody, even those who are in the minority, because they are serving constitutional offices. And the office of the Cabinet Secretary is an office in the public service. And therefore, I want to assure you, members of the National Assembly, you are welcome for a cup of tea, for a discussion about water, for a discussion about how you can give me more money to be able to reach your constituencies. I look forward to that kind of relationship. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank, as I finish, I want to thank His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, for finding it fit to give me this particular job among all those other qualified in equal measure in our coalition, Mr. Speaker, in the country as well. Mr. Speaker, I am truly grateful to His Excellency the President nominating a woman, and not just a woman, the Iron Lady of Muranga, the Iron Lady of Kandara. I am seeing that there are other Iron Ladies coming up, and I want to encourage my sisters. The job be staff. Mr. Speaker, the names women have been called, it should stop. You know, the country must embrace, appreciate women as leaders in equal size, in equal weight, in equal intelligence, so that we can now have treatment of people within the law, under the law, in our society as equal human beings. Mr. Speaker, we must also remember it is looking like the boy child is said to be under threat. Although there are no statistics, Mr. Speaker, we must remember that we must bring a society that is balanced in both gender, and therefore more women. Esther Passaris, more women. Next time we want to hear you are the governor of Nairobi in this country, because it is a powerful position. Mr. Speaker, I think I have taken my 15 minutes. I'm most grateful, and I appreciate the support that my nomination received from this parliament. I do not take it for granted. You had the opportunity and the privilege to reject, but you did not reject. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Alice Wamshomba.